Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Wednesday. Glad you're here. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: identifying and dealing with insubordination. Now, on the football field, you've got to have almost an iron grip on what's going on. It's a well functioning team, uh, quite often is like a machine. Every part's got to be working to its best ability. Otherwise, you could end up having a catastrophic breakdown, and that's where the seams happen. That's where uh, the weaknesses are gonna crop up. They're gonna show up. Um, it's like a roof on a house. Water is going to go to the lowest point. So if you've got a valley, that valley's got to be well insulated. It's got to be well sealed. Otherwise, that water's going to get in, and water's destructive. Insubordination can sort of be like that water because it's going to find the weak point. It's going to find the areas where perhaps there's less respect or a lack of respect. Um, Leadership demands accountability, but what happens when someone refuses to follow? So, first thing you got to do, you got to assess the situation. Not every act of defiance is really true insubordination. Was it stress? Was it miscommunication? Was it outright refusal? Get the facts before you react. Um, Sometimes somebody's just having a bad day and they made a mistake. If you jump to conclusions, you're risking making the problem worse. So when you are in that assessment mode, try something along these lines. I want to understand what led you here. Uh, Please explain your perspective. What was your reasoning? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it this way? Um, Quite often you'll find that it wasn't insubordination as much as they didn't know what else to do. Um, that's when you have to address things calmly. Don't lose your temper. Um, it's it's the old Mark Twain thing. When angry, count to 10. When very angry, swear. Well, try not to get very angry because losing your temper is going to diminish and undermine your authority. Speak privately, speak firmly, stay professional, make your expectations clear because you're not there for a debate on respect or policies or procedures. Your job is to enforce them. So, say something along the lines of, we expect professionalism here, and your response was unacceptable. We need to discuss how to move forward. Um, you know, you I'm going to mention Billy Bean again. Even before Billy Bean was around, or at least before his story got out, I sort of always had that same attitude. Okay, here are the facts. This is not working out. This is working out, but we're going to be making a change. And you just rip the band aid off and you're very clinical about it. I'm going to talk about this more. I'm going to be talking about making the hard decision to cut somebody loose, um, probably on Friday. Because the old office space, yeah, we like to let people go on Friday. I don't think there's a good day of the week to let people go, to fire people. Anyway, that's later in the week. Excuse me. Um, Set your boundaries. Insubordination isn't about disagreement, it's about defiance. Were they actively defiant? You've got to make sure that everybody on your team knows what's acceptable and what's not. Blurred lines lead to bad outcomes. Um, Either someone breaks the rules accidentally, they do it on purpose, whatever it is. If they don't know what the consequences are, if they don't know what the rules are, those blurred lines are going to make things difficult for everybody. So, respect and teamwork are non negotiable. Moving forward, I expect you to be compliant with the rules and professional. You've got to also know when to escalate, because if this behavior continues, you have to escalate it professionally. Warnings, HR involvement, disciplinary action, all of that might be necessary. And you never want to go there, but sometimes you have to. Because you're not just managing one person, you're managing the process, the whole team, and you've got to protect the entire team because again, that water is going to find the low spot. That's where you're going to have the intrusions. Intrusions are bad. It's going to end up leading to a cascade of failures, and next thing you know, boom, you got water damage, and it escalates exponentially on what it's going to cost you in terms of productivity, in terms of output, in terms of team dynamics, all of that. So, this cannot continue. If it does, we will have to take formal action. And once you go there, once you say that, you've got to mean it. Don't threaten, don't be a British cop. The old Robin Williams joke. British police have rubber bullets in their gun. He said, stop before I say stop again. God bless Robin Williams. I miss him. Some final thoughts. Insubordination is at its core about power and control. So address it firmly but fairly. It's not about being liked, it's about making sure that your team is functioning. Yeah, you want to be liked. It's great to be liked, but sometimes you're not going to be. Episode of Friends. Oh, they like you. They think you're a great boss, but you are the boss. You're not their friend anymore. You're the boss, and you've got to keep that in mind. It's not show friends. It's show business. that's today. That's today's red mic message. Short, sweet, to the point. Right? I appreciate you being here. I hope you will join me again tomorrow. Um, I've got two or three topics that, like I said, I haven't figured out what I'm going to do tomorrow. Friday, I'm going to talk about firing people. Not fun, not fun, but sometimes you got to do it. I appreciate you. Please give me a like, a follow, and a share. I'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.